The Nintendo Switch launches next Friday! And I genuinely don't care. And it sucks. Because I'm a raving Nintendo fanboy. I want to care, but I honestly can't muster up any excitement for Nintendo's portable console. It wasn't always this way. There was a time when the release of a new Nintendo console would make me squee with giddy anticipation. So I thought it would be fun to count down to the Switch's launch by taking a look back at each previous Nintendo console launch and recall how hyped I was at the time. Maybe with a bit of introspection I'll determine if my lack of enthusiasm for the launch of Nintendo's newest console is a result of Nintendo's actions, or the fact that I'm a grouchy, stubborn, curmudgeonly old gamer. So today, we start at the beginning with the launch of the Nintendo Entertainment System. The NES launched in North America in 1985 when I was but 5 years old. In those days, console launches weren't the events they are today. There was no internet back then, not even Nintendo Power magazine, so the only way you would hear about these things, especially when you were little, was television commercials and word of mouth. As such, I didn't know about the NES until after it launched. My exposure to the console was via friends that owned one, so while I can't say I was excited for the launch of the NES, I was certainly excited to own one. Unfortunately, we weren't financially well off, so a Nintendo system wasn't in the cards for our household. But thanks to the sales success of the NES, Atari dropped the price of its 7800 console to $50, so Mom eventually picked up one of those. Plus, a family friend who'd been getting into PC gaming gifted us all his old Atari games, so my family had a bunch of awesome games to play. Highlights were Food Fight, Desert Falcon, and Circus Atari. Years later, probably around '89 or so, an older neighbor friend gave us his NES and a few games he had. We never owned a ton of games on the NES due to not having the money to buy them, but we did live within walking distance of a rental store, so I managed to enjoy a large chunk of the system's library over the years. I think some of my fondest memories of the system are the Dragon Warriors series of RPGs. We loved those games. In fact, I'd often come home from school to find the game's heroes had gone up a few levels because Mom had spent an hour or two grinding during the day. Had I known about the launch of the NES, I would have been super excited for it, and had I the money and been old enough, I definitely would have lined up outside a store in the wee small hours of the morning to secure my system on day one. Awesome console. And that's the NES. Tomorrow, we move on to the launch of the Super NES.